What's good, everybody? Obviously, yesterday wasn't amazing, but there's no point dwelling on the goals too much. Obviously, got beat 4-1. The corner is irritating, but is what it is. Got given to Dan that goal. I don't know if Dan scored that goal. But it wasn't Cox's fault either. He just sort of went up in air. I don't know who won header really, but it is what it is. But yeah, conceding from set pieces is obviously annoying. Bamford's goal is crazy, isn't it? Firstly, it's an absolute mint finish from him, which is ace for all you Bamford bashers. Like, absolutely mint. I mean, that was so clinical. Chipping keeper like that, absolutely mint. But he's not offside. But VAR says he is offside, so he is offside. But that is what it is, isn't it? That's the rules. It happened to Mane, didn't it, other week? It's going to happen. That the only really frustrating thing for me is obviously how it changes the course of the game, because then they go immediately up the other end, win a free kick, and then banging in top corner. Few idiots on Facebook and that saying that Meslier can do something about them goals, and I'm just not having that. I don't know what they want from Martin Keown. He said that we should get rid of the wall, as though that's going to help. Not Leeds, I think he just means in general football, get rid of the wall. I mean, he did play at quite a high level, but that seems ludicrous to me. But because you're just literally giving some wonderful footballers the opportunity to strike a ball from 20 yards out straight into the bottom corner. It just seems a bit stupid. But anyway, I'll talk about VAR a bit later on, just because there's more I want to talk about it other than that offside. Because that's not that. Although that is the problem, I don't feel like it's the full problem, which I'll speak about in a minute. Bamford's then goal that got given, I thought was amazing finish. It's mint when he's like that. Amazing. Klitsch's flick on was amazing. Just how he brought it down. How he flicked it on with his head, and then how Bamford brought it down. What I loved about how he brought it down, he didn't hold up the ball. He knew that Klein were coming onto him, but he didn't try and cushion the ball into the place where he was at. He kept going. He kept all his momentum forward, and he gained like maybe 4 yards, so it was suddenly a much easier chance. And that's just a confidence thing, I think, with him, really. But I think he's always been confident. I think he backs his ability, and that's why I like him, because he backs himself, and he will do that every time. And when it works, it's amazing. Then the own goal is madness. That again, Meslier, a couple of people giving him shit for that. Not really having that. I think it's sloppy goal, but I think Costa's unbelievably unlucky. Then obviously he gets brought off at half time. Not because of that, we all know. Not because of that. It's just Bielsa always makes a change at half time. But yeah, a fourth goal, terrible defending. So yeah, I'll just quickly speak on the VAR then. So my thing with the fourth goal, it's the fourth goal that bothered me. So they do it in like phases of football, don't they? My issue with it all is they're taking the power out of the linesman and the ref's hands. So what happens is there was a ball played forward. I can't remember who it was running through. It was on the right-hand side. It might have been that easy or whatever. I don't know who it was. But he looked like he were offside. And the liner might have thought he were offside, but didn't give it, thinking there was a chance that he's going to run through on goal and have a shot on goal, and if he scores, it'll go to VAR. But then once that's over, the game carries on and goes into what they call like another phase of football. So then the ball is a bit of a scramble around. Leeds still haven't recovered from their counter-attack. And then Zaha picks the ball up on the other side. We're all over at shop. And then he puts AU in. All that's onside, obviously. But the initial ball going through that starts the whole counter-attack off, he looked offside, and I've tried to find it online, like to go back far enough, and I can't find it. But the liner could have thought that was offside and then doesn't give it. And that, for me, is the worst part of VAR. Because they don't go back far enough to say where the liner actually was in doubt. I thought it was there to help him, not to... I don't know what it's there for, really. But when it's offside, with the Bamford one, that's offside. If that's what they're saying, that's offside. So I can sort of understand it, even though I think it's a ludicrous offside. I can understand it a little bit more. But the ball through, when the liner might think he's offside, might want to put his flag up, but he's concerned that he's not bang on right because he don't want to stop the play. And then 2 minutes later, they get the ball on the other side and put it in box, and then AU scores. That, to me, is the problem, really. But yeah, it was awful. And obviously, 4-1 twice is not great. But I think there's plenty of positives to take out of the game, really. Even though we got beat 4-1, I thought, like I say, it should be 1-1, really. And then the free kick don't happen, and it all just changed its course at game. We were coming back into the game. I thought Alioski were pretty poor, to be honest. I love Alioski, but I just thought there were just some wayward passes. They were all doing it. We did it too much against Leicester. Ultimately, you can't go 2-0 down in any game of football in the fucking world, never mind in the first 20 minutes in Premiership. And that's obviously the second time in 2 games we've done that. I heard a moron, Leeds fan on TalkSport on way home, and he was talking about how Bielsa's under pressure now. If he loses a couple of games, he needs to be out. That's literally what he was saying on TalkSport, and I literally feel like they shouldn't be allowed to speak, these people. It's like insane. Like, to go on national radio and say somebody that's widely regarded one of the best coaches in the world should be sacked because he's lost 2 games on bounce in the hardest league in the world with a championship side that's just come up. You've got to rein yourself in a little bit. We are going to lose football games. I don't want to lose football games. I hate losing football games, but we are going to lose a few football games, and we're going to get battered. And we still haven't, even though we've lost 4-1, we still haven't been battered. It was in the game. We looked like we could do something. When Fulham get beat 4-1, or when Sheffield get tonked yesterday, they get beat. They get badly beat. They're not in the game. We look like we can change the game. We look like we're 3-1 down. I was still optimistic that we could have got a draw out of that. Obviously, the fourth goal absolutely kills the ball off. One thing that I will give Palace, obviously with that Eze, Zaha, Townsend and AU, they just played completely on their own. They were just like, instead of sort of trying to hold the ball and like take the sting out of the game, they got the ball to them as quickly as they could and just let them play in a 4. They all came really close together and they just played and they held the ball, tried to defeat our little press by just being quality on the ball and just hanging on to it for a little bit longer. They were just holding the ball. Like, Zaha's really good at it, drawing loads of fouls and just holding the ball with a bit of quality, drawing someone in and then just moving it round him. And then the next person does exactly the same thing, and they just took the sting out of every single sort of move or press we tried to do, which were excellent on their behalf. And that were their game plan, really, just get it to that, because they are quality footballers. Like, they might not be effective every week, but when you basically playing in like a 5-a-side with them, it's really, really hard. But yeah, just some sloppy passes. It concerns me that we've not started well twice now. We're normally coming out of blocks like a set of lunatics, but it just seems flat initially, like we're just getting into the game. Couple of talking points with Hernandez. That won't surprise me if we didn't see him again, unless he apologises or something's 100% happened. Obviously, he kicked off, didn't he, which I ain't got a problem with when he came off, because I think that's potentially quite good. But it must have carried on that, because he kicked off last year in Championship. I don't know if anybody remembers, and towards end of season he got brought off, or he got brought on then got brought back off, and he kicked off and obviously played again and again and again. So And I know he's coming towards the end of his career and he obviously wants to play and prove himself, and he does look good, but I think if Bielsa lets anybody get away with anything, everything, the whole image of it breaks down. You can't have players like, I'm not saying Rodrigo's a superstar or Llorente or even Raf, but they are big prospects, big potential players. Not that Rodrigo's a prospect as such, he's a bit older, but you know, the Spanish internationals, I know Raf don't play for Brazil yet, but you can't have this and then just let him be petulant. And I love Hernandez, but something has happened. He would not leave him out of the full squad. I don't know whether, because Roberts has sort of been thrown back at Q, hasn't he? And me and my brother said this actually right at the start. He sort of was using before Rodrigo was starting a lot, and I'm all for Rodrigo starting. But he was using Roberts to have a look, we thought, like, you know, so because he's quality, he's good on ball, he's good at attacking, but he's also very part of the squad, really defensive as well, and the whole thing is very much like Click, really. So I don't know whether it's worth just having a look again, and just getting Roberts back in the starting lineup, unless Rodrigo is back and we look like we can, because obviously we've got Arsenal next, which has now become a huge game. International break, which, as we all know, I hate, but is what it is. It might come at a decent time for us. I can't be arsed sitting through it, but it is what it is. We've got a few really hard games coming up, to be fair. I think it's Arsenal, Everton, Chelsea, and then I think it's West Ham or something, but and then I think it might be Man U after that, but I'll check all that, but they become huge games. I'm also not on board with this, like we're now 15th in the league. I'm not on board with this at all, like that means anything. I was at the start when we were up top. I was enjoying telling everybody that we're 3rd in league, 4th in league and that, but ultimately we're 6 points off the top of the league and we're 6 points off the drop, so you know, you'd have to take that, really, you know, and especially with the way that Fulham, West Brom, Burnley and Sheffield United don't look like they can be given a win. If they paid for one, which they couldn't afford, but yeah, so I'm not bothered by that. But that's pretty much it, I reckon. I'm gonna do a few positives. Obviously, Rodrigo will be back next week or the week after. Llorente's to come back. I don't know how much longer Llorente is out for. I don't know if anybody knows. Drop it in comments. Raf, I still think looks really sharp. And then Phillips to come back. Phillips will be closer to being back, which is good because we do need him. Yeah. I'm going to do an award thing as well because I can't stand some Leeds fans. Love Leeds fans, but I can't stand the ones that just seem like they've never watched a game of football before in their life. So my ludicrous Leeds fan of the week goes to Ricky Cooper, who says, "Relegation battle, here we come." This one's particularly spicy, just because our kid can't even spell word. So yeah, man. So let's roll on, see what happens. I'm going to do a quick chat about Phillips next week. See if what options we've got there and stuff, and try and get someone on maybe to have a chat with me about it and that. Yeah, subscribe to my page. It's got to get 2 down. There's plenty of us to go. It's a long season, and we're not by any means looking shit. You'd take this all day. Nice one. Leeds.
Surprises why I ask no questions, so I get no lies. The rise and falls through it all. Will you be there? I guess I'll find out. I don't wanna play no games. I don't wanna play no games. No. I love myself, and if that makes makes you feel uncomfortable, go talk to someone else. I don't kiss and tell, I don't play with hell. Please don't try to pigeonhole me into something I repel. I'm the envy of your fiction frenzy endings. You're pretending while I'm getting, you're not letting. I'm protecting myself. I'm everything and something else. I'm a pain in the neck when I know that I am correct. And yes, I think I'm the best, I'm thinking less. I'm passing every test, nevertheless I'm still depressed. I'm obsessed, I question every single one of my regrets.